Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Brian from Apex Detail here. I get a lot of questions on soft black paint, and this is what this panel is. Thin, soft black paint. I have it scuffed up. I have it divided into a few different sections where I can show you a few different ways to turn it around. Here we have Meg's 83, and that's just a cleaner polish. We're going to team that up with a very soft polish pad, just a step or two above the black application pad. This is going to be a paint enhancement. This is where you're not really zeroed in on one blemish or another. You just want to get the paint as a whole on your vehicle looking better, looking clear, looking glossier. This is one way to do it. I'm just going to do a crisscross pattern, which is equal to 2 passes. 2 passes should be fine with a cleaner polish. And you'll see the turnaround we have here. I used 3000 grit sand marks to rough up this panel. It's not going to get it perfect. We're not going after perfection here. We're just livening up that paint a little bit. And that's what a lot of car owners or detailers would like to get done. Just bring a little life and clarity out of some of the finishes here on dark, soft, clear. You'll notice I'm using an entry-level polisher. You don't need anything powerful. You don't need anything with a long throw. For an enhancement, you can use an inexpensive entry-level polisher, and you're going to see the turnaround we have here. I have the polisher between the 3rd and the 4th speed setting. Pressure. I'm just guiding the polisher back and forth, as you can see, just applying a little bit of pressure with the thumb. Let me get the residue off here, and you can see the turnaround, just a cleaner polish, this soft pad, foam pad here, and an entry-level polisher will give you doing an enhancement. This would be the absolute best way to turn around your paint if you're satisfied with the look, because there's hardly any clear removed, nothing measurable. And I do get a lot of questions on how many times you can do this to your car. Listen, if you could do it once and you're satisfied, that's absolutely the best thing for your car. Look at this turnaround. This is just with a cleaner polish and that polisher and pad. Perfect? No. Look, the marks are still there, but they're faint. The paint has been exfoliated, brought back to life a bit, and just that alone is huge. Let's compare that to something just a little bit more aggressive. This is the Ultimate Polish by Meguiar's. We're going to team that up with a polish pad from Max Shine, and we'll use that on the rotary. So we're just going a little bit higher in aggression. Still, probably not any type of measurable clear coat we're removing from the panel here, so still perfectly safe. Again, would I do this over and over and over again? No, absolutely not. Do it once. If you're satisfied, protect it and keep the blemishes and love marks and imperfections from returning, then you don't have to do it again. Third speed setting on the rotary polisher here, and you can see my arm movement is just a little bit faster when I use the rotary than when I use a dual action polisher. It's just natural. We're going to get a little bit more friction from the forced rotation and a little bit more heat, so I like to move my arms a little bit faster and keep the heat down. Keep it to a minimum. As we jump from one panel to another and make our way around the hood here, we're going to be just jumping, taking small steps, baby steps up in aggression. From a cleaner polish and enhancement, this is still considered an enhancement to me here in this section in the second section. As we jump to the third section, we'll go to a 1-step, and you'll see the difference there. That's where you jump up, take a bigger step in aggression, and go after some deeper imperfections. We'll go from there to an all-in-one, where we're talking about a 1-step with a little bit of protection. That'll save you a step, save you some time. And then we'll go even 1 step further after that, and I'll explain when we get there. But each trip around each step as we make a trip around the panel, we're just getting a little bit more aggressive, and you can see the differences and what I'm using. That'll help you when you come upon the situation to maybe have in mind what you want to pick as a combination for a pad, polisher, and correction liquid. That'll do it. That was just, again, crisscross pattern equal to 2 passes. Let me remove the residue, move over the tape so you can see the contrast of the corrected and the uncorrected area. You're going to see another big jump with very little effort, but more importantly, very little clear coat removed, something that's barely going to be measurable, nothing measurable at all, really. It's not until we get to the next section where you might be able to pick up a little bit of measurable clear coat removed. None of these have fillers, by the way, but you can see, not perfect. However, a huge turnaround with a very insignificant or non-aggressive pad and liquid. So let's jump to the next little area here where we're going to use 3D1 and team that up with a Eurofiber 50/50 pad. This here is the perfect combination for a one-step. A subscriber mentioned down in the comments section, and yes, I do pay attention to you guys down there, that he read in a forum that you can repeatedly polish your car throughout the year. And that is a bunch of hoo-ha. That probably came from a forum where the main goal is to sell you polishers, pads, and correction liquids, one of the above or all of the above. But no, it's not. Listen, I wash my car using the rinseless method 85% of the time. I hardly have any swirls at all. I will polish every year and a half only to remove the old sealant, because I use sealant. I only have one car coated, but to remove the old sealant and apply a new one, and that's about it. Every few months, running a polisher over the finish, no, that's not going to happen. You can do whatever you want. It's your car. I'm just giving you the facts. Okay, let me remove the residue, move the masking tape, and this time you're going to see a little bit more depth. The all-in-one and the pad that we've teamed up dug just a little bit deeper. Still barely measurable, but you're going to see 85% of the blemishes are going to be gone. It's still not going to be perfect, but we're getting closer. Just to briefly get back to what I was talking about before with polishing the car repeatedly, let me give you a quick visual. Manufacturers give barely 2 mils of clear coat on your car these days, getting thinner and thinner. This is 1.9 mils right here. See how thin that is? That's how thin your clear coat is. Just to remind you how thin clear coat is and not to be shaving it repeatedly over and over. So let's take a look now. You can see a huge difference. We have a lot of depth now. We have a lot of clarity coming out from that one step and pad. And hey, that is leaps and bounds above enhancements, but they all made the panel look a heck of a lot better. So let's go over to the next little section here. Now we can briefly talk about all-in-ones. This is exactly the same as the last step with the 3D1 one-step, except for we're adding protection. So we're saving your time throwing protection in the mix. You're doing your correction, you're getting your protection laid down, and you're done. You're completely finished if you're satisfied. Seemed like just a few short years ago, I used to be able to walk around the car, take GM for instance, and get an average of 5.5 to 5.8 mils in thickness from the top of the panel to the top of the clear coat. Now that includes all 3 layers of primer base coat clear coat. However, nowadays, just to give you an example of how all the manufacturers are skipping on the finish, I'm getting an average of about 4.9 now on GM, on the newer vehicles. They're getting cheaper, and who's even the Asian cars, I used to always get in, I'd say 4.3 mils to 4.5 on an average if I walk all the way around the car. Now I'm getting 3.9 to 4 to 4. We're getting dangerously low on all layers of protection, including primer, base coat, and clear coat. Just something to keep in mind as we move further into the next few years. Adding to that, manufacturers are merging. They're also going through strikes. They are also moving back and forth from here to overseas to find cheaper labor, and they're going to be finding ways to cut corners as much as possible. All right, let's remove the residue from this little section here. This has a little bit of SiO2, so what we're going to include in this section here is a little bit of filling. Products that have filling capabilities are taboo at the moment, but they will become more and more important as we get clears that just cannot be taken down anymore, are too thin. And the fillers give us another option to hide or mask imperfections. They may be temporary, but they are another option. And as you can see here, another impressive turnaround. This here has protection, so you'd be done at this point. Let's go one little step further. This is solo. This is a cut and polish from Meguiar's. This will give you a quick cut out in the gate, and then the abrasives will quickly break down so you can get a nice finish out of it. On very soft clear, however, may have a little bit of a haze to contend with to finish off with an application pad, but no big deal. I personally like to team this one up with the Eurofiber 50/50 pad as well, but you don't have to go that aggressive. You can go with the soft polishing pad foam as well, or you can even go with a microfiber polish that will have 100% of the fibers on that pad strictly there to just polish. So this here gives you an idea of some of the combinations that are possible depending on what you're going after on soft black clear coat. An enhancement, or if you want to do a one-step, or an all-in-one, or a quick cut and finish. All of those are non-aggressive, won't remove a ton of clear, and you saw the type of turnaround with your own eyes there. I will indeed follow up on this same panel, soft black thin clear coat, and do some multi-step corrections, get a little bit more aggressive, and that's where I'll bring the paint depth gauge meter into play and show you how to utilize it. So stay tuned. So let's remove the residue, and I'll show you this section. And we did go a little bit deeper, removing more of the imperfections, but we'll see if you can pick it up. There is a very slight haze in that section. That cut and finish was just a little too aggressive for this very soft, very thin clear. You would have to follow that up and finish it off. Just using a foam application pad would do it. You could even finish those off by hand. But take a look at the hood as a whole and remember where we started, what it looked like when we started, and the turnaround we have now. If you're enjoying the content from this channel, be sure to like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. That will let you know when we have fresh content available.